What's going on, guys? It's Cynical and welcome back to another Spyro video. Guys, it's been a hot minute, like a flaming hot minute since we last talked about this scaly purple marsupial. It's not a marsupial. What am I? It's a fucking dragon, dude. But it's been a little while since we last talked about Spyro, mainly because although there has been some stuff that has been coming out in amongst all of the Kingdom Hearts stuff recently this year, it's been sort of hard to focus on both Kingdom Hearts as well as Spyro at the same time. However, though, I do want to talk about three things today, and I'm sort of feeling as if this will most likely be the very final Spyro video I do before the release of the game in November. Unless, of course, there is something else that comes out that is substantial. We are getting very close to the release of the game now, so I can't really imagine that Toys for Bob are going to be dropping anything else too major. At this point, we have seen all three of the games, which, oh my god, this trilogy package is looking absolutely beautiful. I mean, honestly, I think at this point, I am definitely more excited for Spyro than I was for Crash. And I know I've said this time and time again, but I'm definitely a bigger Spyro fan than I am a Crash fan. So I just want to talk about three things today, starting off with the Spyro 3 demo that I actually got to play last weekend at a convention known as Armageddon here in my country in New Zealand. I finally got to have some hands-on time with Spyro 3. I actually got to play Spyro earlier this year at E3, however though it was only Spyro 1 consisting of treetops as well as Toasty. So yeah, I was absolutely ecstatic to be able to finally play Spyro 3 to see how it's feeling. I got to play the Sunny Villa demo, which is basically Sunny Villa in its entirety, even including the skateboarding section of the world as well. And this is actually a more recent build of the game compared to the build that I played at E3. The build that I played at E3 was actually one of the very first builds of the Spyro demo, so a few things have sort of been a little bit more redefined this time around. That, and it is also Spyro 3, which, you know, if you guys have played the Spyro trilogy, you will know that Spyro actually does feel a little bit different to control in both Spyro 2 and 3 compared to that of number 1. The one thing that I was absolutely thrilled to try out was the glide stopping, because this was actually something that was put into Spyro 2 and 3 and was never actually in the very original. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, basically when Spyro glides, you can actually press triangle to sort of flutter up into the air to get a more accurate landing, and I really wanted to see exactly how this felt in the Reignited Trilogy, and I have to say it feels really, really good. In my first initial impressions for the Spyro Reignited Trilogy when I played it earlier this year in June, one thing that I mentioned was that Spyro is feeling extremely fluid. Like, controlling him feels very responsive, extremely nice, and especially with the high frame rate that the Reignited Trilogy has, I'm not entirely too sure if it is 60 frames or not, but it certainly felt as if it was running in the high 50s. Talking about Sunny Villa though, I absolutely loved playing through this level because it's one of my all-time favorites. It's one of the very first worlds you go to in Spyro 3. And it's extremely colorful. This is one thing I also said in my initial impressions video, but man, is this game colorful. Of course, this can come down to the saturation level that the TV is set at, but with all the grass and especially the water and all of the architecture, the coloring towards all of these different detailings within the world, man, do they pop. I also wanted to check out the more secret areas of Sunny Villa, including the egg that is actually up on top of the waterfall, which requires you to glide stop onto two pillars, and I also wanted to see the entrance to the Sheila level in Sunny Villa as well, which you guys have seen right here. Unfortunately, you can't enter it in the demo itself, but yes, it's here. Also, water effects. Sunny Villa has a decent amount of water within its level, and I was really impressed by the water ripple effects that we were seeing here in the demo, looking absolutely beautiful. All in all, I have to say that so far, with the amount of Spyro that I've played so far for the Reignited Trilogy, this is definitely shaping up to be an absolutely fantastic remake from the ground up. Kudos to Toys for Bob, you guys are absolutely killing it. So we recently received a brand new trailer for the Reignited Trilogy, and in the ways of trailers, there hasn't really been too many of them this year. This is actually the second trailer for the Reignited Trilogy. Otherwise, Toys for Bob have been primarily focusing on showing off the gameplay throughout the 3 different games. So I thought it would only be necessary to do a very quick analysis. Spyro making some lamb shanks. Look at that glimmer gem glow. Oh my god. Dicky go boom. Spyro used his body to destroy a literal steel train. Forget Tony Hawk Pro Skater, bro. These ice graphics are cleaner than Mr. Clean. Buster Nut Comparison 1. Buster Nut Comparison 2. Buster Nut Comparison 3. I wanna eat Autumn Plains. It looks that good. Jesus, Hunter. It looks so moist. This man is into memes. Dude, I cannot wait to slap you again. Sonic would be proud. But this right here is the launch trailer for the Spyro Reignited Trilogy, which means that yes, we are getting very, very close to the actual release of the game come November 13th. This probably also means that this is going to be the very final trailer that Toys for Bob put out. Again, like I was saying, there hasn't really been too many trailers in the ways of the Reignited Trilogy. More so, Toys for Bob have just been focusing on level demos, which honestly, for a remaster, considering that people already know every single level when it comes to all 3 games, I think that's really the correct way to promote something like this. However, I gotta say that this is probably one of the coolest trailers I've seen all year for like really any game. I mean, Kingdom Hearts 3 has had some really cool trailers this year, but this launch trailer in specific, just with the way that the music flows, with all the scene transitions, showing off all 3 games, Toys for Bob did a really, really good job with this. Like, this is how you do a trailer, folks. And the last thing I wanted to talk about today is Crush's Dungeon in Spyro 2. Recently, we actually got to see what Crush's Dungeon is looking like within the Reignited Trilogy. And yes, this has sort of sparked a bit of discussion when specifically focusing on the changes that Toys for Bob have made. You guys have seen it right now, and if you have played Spyro 2, the original on PlayStation 1, you'll know that Crush's Dungeon looks quite a bit different. In the original, Crush's Dungeon sort of has like this Greek arena sort of aesthetic going on, where the arena platform is actually surrounded by lava. In the Reignited Trilogy, they've now switched it to sort of a sewer type environment, where it's surrounded by green goo. It's very, very different to that of the original, and this has sort of sparked a little bit of controversy. Now, so far, I gotta say that I'm actually really impressed with all of the redesigns. There have been quite a few different redesigns that sort of veer away from the original quite a bit, but honestly, that doesn't bother me too much, especially when looking towards the characters throughout the Spyro games. A lot of them have received some pretty hefty redesigns, but honestly, I'm happy with these because it adds another extra layer of sort of personality to these characters. This would probably have to be the only thing so far with the Reignited Trilogy where I'm sort of scratching my head. In a way, I can sort of understand why perhaps maybe they decided to go with the sewer type environment, considering that the way you enter Crush's Dungeon is via jumping into a hole. So I guess in a way it sort of makes sense that that hole that you jump into would lead into some sort of the sewer type area. So perhaps maybe that's the reason as to why they took this direction with the redesign. However, though, all in all, in terms of other redesigns, I think that Toys for Bob are doing a really, really, really good job. And so far, I think that the Reignited Trilogy is coming together absolutely perfectly. However, guys, with all that being said, that is going to conclude today's video. It feels really good to be able to talk about Spyro Scene, as it's been such a long time since we last did so. Like I said, this is probably going to be my very final Spyro video before the actual game drops November 13th. I cannot wait, dude. We are so close. In the comment section down below, guys, please do let me know your thoughts and opinions. However, dudes, I'm Cynical. Hopefully you're having a fantastic day. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you later. Peace.